Hello dear children, welcome to the maths class. In the last unit, we have learned about a type of a number. Isn't it? We have learned about a type of a number. What was it? We call it as a fraction. What is a fraction? It is a part of the whole. It is not a complete thing, a portion of it, a part of a whole. If the whole you divide it into equal parts, one portion if you take, that can be represented as a fraction. That was what we have learned in the last unit. And how do you represent a fraction? How do you know that this is a fraction? You represent a fraction as a numerator and denominator. Two numbers which represents the numerator and denominator. What is denominator? Denominator is that which tells you into how many equal parts you are going to divide the full into. And numerator tells you how many parts you require from that. So an example is 1 by 4. 1 by 4 tells you that there are 4 equal parts of which you require one part. So that is one way of representing a fraction. And that fraction tells you the part of a whole. Now same way, there is one more method or one more way to represent this part of a whole. And that we are going to learn as a new topic. We call it as decimal. So the next unit for us to learn is decimals. What are decimals? Decimals are also part of a whole. It is another way of representing part of a whole. One method is by writing it as a fraction. Another way of representing a part of a whole is as a decimal. Now, how you will identify what is a decimal? A decimal is identified by having a dot, a small dot in between the numbers. Suppose I say write like this. I have written 4, a dot is being put, and then I have written 3. This means that this is not the whole 4 but a portion. 4 and some portion more, some part more. Some more part is there along with 4. And this dot we call it as the decimal point. So if at all if you come across such numbers, these will represent a decimal. Now how we are going to read this? Always it is not possible for us to write 4 dot 3 or 5.3, 25.3, 4 and all. It is not possible for us to always say like that. Nor we will say 4 decimal point 3. So we will cut short that and then read this as 4.3, or say this will be read as 25.6. So when you hear 25.6 or 4.3, it should come to your mind, yes, this is a decimal. It is not a whole, it is a part. It's a part of the whole. So this is another way of representing part of a whole as a decimal. Now when you look into this decimal, something comes to your mind. This is somewhat like how we have written about the numbers, whole numbers and all. Yes, so this also has got some places and place values. The decimals also, or decimal numbers also have got places and its values. Before going into that, when you look into the decimal has got 2 parts. The first part, that is towards the left, whatever you are having, that is before the decimal point. This is called as the decimal point. Now, before the decimal point, whatever is coming, that will represent the whole number part. This is a whole, 25. Yes, it is full, 25. And whatever comes after the decimal point, We call it as the decimal part. So you are having two parts for a decimal, the whole number part and the decimal part. Where does a decimal part come? The decimal part comes after the decimal point. Now, as a convention, all those digits which come in the decimal part. See, it doesn't mean that we always have only 4.3 or 25.6 only or 1.2, only that much. No, there are more digits, which means there are more places. In the decimal part also, we have got different places with different place values. So, when you read a decimal, this is read as 25.6. Now, when you read a decimal, each digit written after the decimal point or the decimal part digits will be read individually. Individually means each digit should be said separately. Suppose you have a decimal like this. This is of course a decimal. How do you know that's a decimal? Because it has got a decimal point. Now how are you going to read this? 4.384. No. Then that doesn't make any difference between the whole number and the decimal. I told you after the decimal point, the decimal places are there. Now these decimal places have got its own name as well as its values. Now to read this decimal, after the decimal point, each place or each digit is to be read individually. So this will be read as 4.384. You don't read it as 4.384 because that is not a value or that is not the place assigned. Each digit will have to be read separately or individually. So how many ever digits are there in the decimal part? We never confine ourselves to say that there are only 3 places after the decimal point. There are infinite number of places after the decimal point. But we are confining ourselves to only 3 places. For us to make it convenient for us to learn, we are only confining ourselves to the 3 places. So you will read each digit individually. So suppose it is say, how do you read this? 25.32, not 32. So I have heard many times children saying 25.32. It's a wrong way of saying, it's a wrong way of reading a decimal. Please don't do like that. You read a decimal when you're reading a decimal, after the decimal point, the digit should be read individually. So this will be read as 25.32. Suppose you have say a decimal like this. Look at this decimal. How will you read this? 4.38489. It should be read like that. Now we have learned that a decimal has got 2 parts. One is a whole number part and another is a decimal part. Whole number part, we know the places and place values. Now let us concentrate on the decimal part. So suppose you have a number. How will you read this number as 4.368? Now after the decimal point, there are decimal places. Each is different from the other. Now the first place, which is coming soon after the decimal point, we call this place as the 10th place. 10th. In the whole number part, we have got a tens place, that is TENS. Here it is 10th place. TH is also there. So TENTHS. 10th place. This 10th place will have a value of 1/10. Just recollect what we have learned about whole numbers or the natural numbers. How was the value? The first place was the ones place having a value of 1. The second place was the tens place having a value of 10. Third place was the hundreds place having a value of 100. It goes on like that. Here the first place, that is the decimal part, the first place is the 10th place having a value of 1 by 10 because it is a part, a decimal part. It is not a whole, it is a part. Now the second place, it is the hundredths place. Hundredths, Hundredths, the hundredths place having a value of 1 by 100. And the third place is the thousandths place having a value of 1 by 1000. So there are places further. The next place, what would it be? 10,000ths place. But we are not going beyond the thousandths place. We are confining ourselves up to 3 decimal places. So which are the 3 decimal places? The first one, that is soon after the decimal place. See here in the whole number part, how did we go? We go from the left. We go from the right towards the left. But here how? From the left towards the right we are going. The places are going from the left towards the right. So the first place after the decimal point, we call it as the tenths place having a value of 1 by 10. The next one is the hundredths place having a value of 1 by 100. And next is the thousandth place having a value of 1 by 1000. This is how the place value of a decimal is being noted. Now, keeping this place value and the places in mind, can we get a relation between the different places in the decimal part or the different decimal places? Look at the values. The first place is 1 by 10. The second place is 1 by 100. The third place is 1 by 1000. So, as you move from left towards the right in a decimal, the value becomes 1 by 10th. The value becomes 1 by 10th. Going back to natural numbers or whole numbers, as you move towards the left, what happens to the value? The value is 10 times the previous place. So here in a decimal, when you move from left towards the right, the decimal part, each place is 1 by 10th the previous place. So 100th place is 1 by 10th of the 10th place. Like that it goes. The value decreases by 1 by 10th. In the whole number part, the value increases by increases by 10 times. So as you move from right towards the left, in a decimal also, if you move from right towards the left, the value increases. In the decimal part, it increases by 1 by 10, and the whole number part, it increases by 10. From here, that side, it decreases by 1 by 10. So that is about the place values. Now we'll be learning how to read a decimal with the places, or how to write in the expanded form a decimal. So suppose you are having, say, 35 point, how do you read a decimal? 35.682. Now which is this place? This is the 10th place, this is the 100th place, and this is the 1000th place. This will be 1's place, and this is the 10th place. So you will be reading this number as, or this decimal can be read as 3 10s plus 5 1s. This comes in the whole number part. Plus, now we are going to write the decimal part. What is the place here? 10th place. So this will be 6 tenths. Plus, next place is 100th place. The digit there is 8. So it will be 8 hundredths. Plus, this is 1000th place. So 2 thousandths. So this decimal is read as, two ways are there. You read it as 35.682 in the expanded form, or with the places. When you read, this will be 3 tenths plus 5 ones plus 6 tenths plus 8 hundredths plus 2 thousandths. Now if you write the values, with the values, how you are going to write it. So this will be 3 into 10, the value of the tens place, plus 5 into 1 plus 6 tenths. What is the value of the tenths place? 1 by 10. So this will be 6 into 1 by 10 plus 8 into 1 by 100 plus 2 into 1 by 1000. Or it can be written as 30 plus 5 plus 6 by 10 plus 8 by 100 plus 2 by 1000. This is the expanded form for the decimal. You read it as 3 tenths plus 5 ones plus 6 tenths plus 8 hundredths plus 2 thousandths, thousandths, and then the value will be read as 30 plus 5 plus 6 by 10 plus 8 by 100 plus 2 by 1000. One more example we will see. Now how you read this number. Read this decimal. 4 point, is it 89 only because there is no digit over there in the first place? No. Even if there is no digit, there is a digit of course. 0 is there. A number is there. 0 is there. So it has got a place. The value is 0. It has got a place. So that place also should be read. So you will read this as 4.089. And the number name, or you read this as 4 ones plus 0 tenths plus 8 hundredths plus 9 thousandths. Or the value when you put, you will write it as 4 plus 0 by 10 plus 8 by 100 plus 9 by 1000. So usually if it is 0, we know that it has got a place value. The place value, the place is there. Though the value there is 0, the place is there. So that should be there in your mind when you read the decimal. So you can even write this as 4 plus 8 by 100 plus 9 by 1000, which indicates that there is a place. The 10th place is there, but no digit is there in that. So you put there 0. This is how you read a decimal. Suppose it is say, now how you read this number or this decimal? 369.158. Now in the decimal form, how you are reading with the places? This is 300s plus 6 tenths plus 9 ones plus 1 tenth plus 500th plus 8,000th. Now the value with the value, how you are going to read? 300 plus 60 plus 9 plus 1 by 10 plus 5 by 100 plus 8 by 1000. Sometimes you may be given the expanded form or the decimal with the places you may be given. How to write the decimal for that? So one question. Suppose it is given like this. The expanded form is given 3 tenths plus 3 tenths. How to write this as a decimal? Now 3 tenths. 3 tenths means we are having 3 in the tens place. So what about the ones place? Ones place is don't have a digit. So what you will put there? You should be putting there as 0. So this will be 30. Now the decimal part, how you will represent? There should be a decimal point. Now the decimal part, it is given 3 tenths. 3 tenths means what digit is coming in the tenths place? 3. So you write that in the tenths place, it will be 30.3. Supposing it is 5 thousandths. The decimal is 5 thousandths. How you are going to write that as a decimal? 5 thousandths means there is only the decimal part is there. Nothing is there in the whole number part. If there is no digit in the whole number part, please don't leave it as it is. You will put it as 0. So the whole number part, there is no digit, which means it is 0. Then put the decimal point. 0 point. Now decimal part, what is given? 5,000ths only, which means there is no digit in the 10th place as well as the 100th place. So shall we leave there and write 5 over here? No. If you write 5 here, then that will represent 5 is in which place? The 10th place. But where is 5? 5 is in the 1000th place. So the 10th and 100th place, we cannot just leave it off. Since there is no digit, you will write there as 0. So this will be 10th place no digit, 100th place also no digit, but the 1000th place you are having 5. So 5,000 is written as 0.005. Always keep in mind, please don't write this as 0.005. If there is no digit in the whole number part, please put that as 0. What does this mean? There is no digit in the whole number part, 0.45, and you can read like that also, 0.45. So if the decimal expansion is given with the places, we have learned how to write a decimal. Supposing the values are given, for example, if it is given, say it is given like this, 40 plus 3 by 1000. How to write this as a decimal? Now 40 means, that is the whole number part. So this will be 40.3 by 1000. 3 by 1000 means you don't have any digit coming in the 10th place as well as the 100th place. Shall we leave it like that? No. We'll be putting a 0 in the 10th place, 0 in the 100th place, and 3 in the 1000th place, because the value is 3 by 1000. So if the place value is given, how to write it as a decimal also we have learned. So we have learned what a decimal is, how do you represent a decimal, how you read a decimal, what are the two parts of the decimal, that is a whole number part and a decimal part. And after the decimal point, you indicate a decimal using a decimal point, and after the decimal point, each digit should be read individually. Then we have also seen what are the places coming in the decimal part, or for a decimal, what are the places. The first place, soon after the decimal point, you have the 10th place with a value of 1 by 10. Next, the 100th place with a value of 1 by 100, and then the 1000th place with a value of 1 by 1000. We have also learned how to read a decimal with respect to the places, with respect to the place values and all. We have learned how to write in the expanded form or to read the decimal, and also to write as a decimal given the expanded form with respect to the place as well as the place values.